So, first things first, Amy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. So, before we jump into the music you've been making lately, I'd like to jump back to the beginning. Do you remember when you fell in love with music?
Yeah, I think I fell in love with it pretty early on in life. I was really lucky. My parents listened to some really great music, so I gravitated to it pretty early on.
What kind of music?
They listened to a lot of like The Cure and The Police and just classic stuff. So, and like Pearl Jam and Guns N' Roses, and I kind of always gravitated to like really sad songs. I don't know why, but yeah, I've just been surrounded by all these beautiful voices, I guess, from a very young age. So it was easy to fall for it.
So when you started writing, then did you gravitate towards sadder songs as well?
Yeah, I was super depressing. Like all my songs are really sad. That's what's really funny. The first kind of romantic song I wrote, was kind of a door. So, so it's kind of like I feel like I need to be a bit more positive in my songwriting, and it feels good. Like a lot of my songs are sort of getting that way now.
Right. Well, I'd like to focus on the beginning just quickly. Because what made you write a song? What did you get out of it, especially early on, starting out?
Well, at the start, it was just like a therapy session. Like I didn't think that I was going to be a musician. I was pretty grounded, so I was like, it's a dream. I'm not going to, go out and think I'm going to be a musician, because to me it was like unrealistic. And I had parents that were like, you need to go to university. You need like a proper job. So. Yeah, I just used it for just to digest things that were happening in my life, whether it was like relationships or family. So yeah, I just used it for that. And it wasn't until I got pushed, I was dating this guy, and he had sort of entered me in this songwriting competition, and I had to play it. So, and then I really liked it. Everyone sort of said, that's a great song, and I don't know, I got something out of performing, so then I fell in love with that side of it as well.
Right. What was that first show like?
It was pretty horrible. It was like at a really Aussie pub.
Okay.
A lot of drunk people there, but it was just a tiny little competition, and I ended up winning the competition, and I guess I got a little confident then to write more music. And I felt like it was okay to share feelings, like personal feelings.
Well, that's the thing, because sharing those songs and very personal lyrics and feelings, did that come easy to you? Especially because you mentioned you didn't really plan out going into music? It
came really easy, because I didn't think I was going to show anyone. So it was like, I'm just going to be really honest in my songs, because it was more like a diary than anything. And then I'd been writing for so long, and it took a while, and then all of a sudden it was okay to have these really deep songs, and people were really appreciating it, because it was like, hey, I feel the same. And it was started to be a really great movement. I was listening to a lot of bands that were doing the same sort of things. I was looking up to them, thinking it's okay to do this.
Right.
It's fine. Yeah.
At this point, who were the bands that is it the same as you mentioned?
I listened to a lot of like punk when I was growing up, so like a lot of like Taking Back Sunday and Brand New, and I loved Tegan and Sarah, and like just real lyric heavy songs and clever songs. So and it just inspired me to.
So when you kind of continued writing, and you all of a sudden know you have some people listening to it in the audience, did that change how you wrote?
It got a little scary, because all of a sudden you get asked questions about, oh, what does this lyric mean, or who's this song about, and I just have to sort of direct the interview the way I want it directed, because some are so personal that it's like, well, I don't, I put so much out in my music, I don't want to spoon feed the rest of my life to everyone else. It's like you can hear everything that's going on in my life in my songs if you listen hard enough. So, but I definitely think, before I put something out, I'm going to have to talk about this. And but I never want to change, because, that would be defeating the purpose of why it's doing well, I think, because people want it to be personal.
Because now that it has become a, well, let me ask this then, because you said you never really saw it as a career path. Your parents were kind of like, get a real job. So when was the turning point then for you?
Well, the turning point was when I released Adore, and it got added to a very big radio station at home, and in one day I just had all these people trying to sort of sign me to record labels, sign me to management, sign me to be my agent, and it was really overwhelming because I'd spent a lot of time trying to get their attention, and then I gave up. So I was in a state of I don't really care anymore, and then all of a sudden this song comes out, and my whole life has changed. And I think it was when I signed the record label, and I was still working in my job because I loved my job. I was a film editor, and they were like, you're gonna have to quit your job. And I only worked for a small football club, so it wasn't like, but that was when I was like, okay, this is real. Like, this is gonna be something that I'm gonna do. So
I read something about that where, like, say you gave everything to kind of pursue music, but then am I right in saying that there was a point where you thought, okay, I've been trying this now for so many years, you kind of have to make a decision now. So did you actually consider quitting music?
Oh yeah, I totally had. Like, I'd spent all my money, I'd spent all my boyfriend's money. It's just like we were just putting everything into music, and getting very little return. And I was always going to write songs, but I'd just go back to doing it the way I did it at the start, just for myself and maybe my friends or whatever. I'd just given up on trying to get attention from radio or labels, because it's just like, you do it for so long. It's like I was just focusing on other things.
And then when Adore does get picked up, is that something like, well, I was going to say, you see in the movies where it comes completely out of left field and you kind of are surprised by everything?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. I'd written so many songs, so I'd never known what a hit was. I think all my songs are great, so I didn't write it and sit back and think, oh, I got a good song here. I didn't have a clue. I just released it on a free platform for people to download for free, and then it just went from there.
This might be a difficult question then to answer, but why do you think Adore did so well?
I think it did well because I think it's refreshing. Like, I think there's so many songs out at the moment about like love, and there's probably been 20 different writers on that song. So when that artist sings it, I don't actually believe them. And I think that we're really like drowning in all those songs, So Adore, because it's so personal and I didn't really hold back, and even the vocal take is really quite emotional. I think it's just refreshing, and I think it was probably needed.
You mentioned kind of the dividing line between your personal life and this. So whenever there's something you don't want to talk about, just tell me. But was Adore written about a specific person?
Oh yeah, all my songs are written about someone. There's always like a leading person that's in my mind that I'm writing about. But yeah, I just never say who.
but so do you know then if that person, I suppose...
I'm pretty sure I'd have a good idea.
No, but do you know if they've heard the song, and then if so, what their response would be?
Everyone in my country's heard that song.
Fair enough. But so, talking about real people, is that, and like you mentioned, it's very personal, so do you censor yourself in a way, or do you kind of...
There's been some songs in the past that, I'm like, oh, that's probably spelling it out too much, like a certain situation that's happened. And sometimes I've written a song and I'm like, I feel better now. Okay. I won't release it. It's just, I've kind of done it, and it's like on my phone, there's not too many songs these days that I censor. Like, sometimes I write a song and I'm like, oh, that's pretty heavy. I'll change it later. Okay. I'll go back and edit it, and then I just won't, because I'm used to hearing the demo. I like it now, so I'm just like, oh well, we're gonna roll with it, and let's see how much trouble I get in.
So it's time as well. Once you hear it often enough, it's kind of
that's true.
So and going into Night Thinker, your EP, because there's a couple of songs on there, and we don't have to get into all of them. But Drive You Mad, I read, was one of your favorites. How come?
So that was written on a day that I was having a real moment where I'd been such a bitch to everyone. Like, I don't know, I was just like, nothing was really going my way, and I was snapping at like my mom, and I was snapping at my husband, and I was like, and then I was just like, I think it's me. Like, I think I'm the problem. And it was just such a good feeling writing that song, because I felt like I just like apologized to everyone in one song, like just saying, look, I know that can be hard, and I know I'm like, I can be really needy, and I can drive you mad. So, and I just love the melody. Like the day I wrote that, I was really proud of it. I was like, these are different melodies that I'd never played with before, and yeah, so I love that siren. It turned out exactly what I wanted it to be, because I wanted it to be an uncomfortable song to listen to.
Yeah. Well, how come?
Just because it was an uncomfortable topic to admit. Like, no one likes to admit that you're the problem.
But that's the thing with, well, I say that as if I'm a songwriter, but writing songs, can it be confronting for yourself because they are so personal and because they are about real things?
Yeah, well, a lot of the time I blame everyone else. I'm like, well, you must be something wrong with you if you don't like me.
Right.
You know, so this one was really different, and that's why I like it, because I was like being so brutally honest with myself and just being like, look, I can be a punish, you know. Can be a punish to be friends with, to be in a relationship with, everything. So, and I just love that song, and I love the production around it as well. And
then performing these songs live, do you go back to that initial emotion that is attached to it, or can you kind of distance yourself now?
It's funny performing, because I'm putting on a show and I have to be aware of things, and I'm listening to timing and click, and I'm listening to everything, but I'm also trying to lose myself as well and give people a good show, but also enjoy it. Like, I want to enjoy it. It's not, it is for people, but it's also for me to enjoy singing this song that I wrote and hearing it loud, and hearing the beats and hearing, you know, everything. So it's just a big juggling act, really. You know, I'll be thinking of so many things, and I think that's the rush of performing, just thinking of everything at once.
I can imagine that's quite difficult to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm so used to it now. Like, what's good now is I am more comfortable on stage, and I'm being able to spend more time getting in the zone and enjoy singing my songs.
Because those are those moments you can't really, I suppose, force it, right? You kind of have to be in the moment.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and I'm like we've spoken about, the songs are so personal. It's really hard to not get in the moment. Finally,
then, Night Thinker. I believe it was April that it was released. Or?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not exactly sure anymore, but can I assume that's a precursor to debut album?
Yeah, definitely.
So where is your writing, or where's your mind at now?
Well, I'm just lucky that I write all the time, and I've been writing for years. So when they were like, "Let's start your album," I was like, "Awesome!" So it's pretty much done. Okay. It's like I'm still got a few songs that I want to add, but there's definitely no shortage of them at the moment. So I'm going to have to do some culling, which is going to hurt, but I'm looking forward to.
In that sense, then, and this final question: Will this be your debut album? Will that be a collection of the 10 best songs you have written, so to say, in the last years, or are you looking for a certain cohesion as well?
They're all very new, but they're of topics that that I've wanted to write about in the past. There's no songs that I wrote ages ago that I'm going to actually use, but the ideas are there, and there's like, I've got a black book of just like lyrics and just song ideas of topics. So
very quickly, there was one topic that you can share, if you can share anything, something that you were meaning to write about.
To give you an idea on what the album is probably going to be like, it's going to be like Night Thinker, but 100 times like longer and better and bigger. So
sounds good. All right, Amy, thank you very much for your time.
No worries. Thank you. Appreciate it.